Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fiberista Files. Today is Sunday, September 21st, 2014. I'm your host Heather, also known as Boutros Babe on Ravelry and Plurk, and Fiberista Files on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the podcast at thefiberista.files.com and on iTunes, and you can find the shop at shop.highlandhandmaids.com. Alright, I have lots to talk about today. I actually did have every intention of recording earlier this week. I recorded a whole bunch on Monday, and then the world changed and I deleted it because everything is, the whole podcast is quite a bit different. Obviously the knitting and the spinning didn't change much, but the world's a little bit different today than it was last week. So let's start with the week in review before I get too far ahead of myself. Before I talk about anything else, I need to say a thank you to my friend Shell, who sent me a wonderful package that totally made my day. Now, I can't show you everything that she sent me because one of the things she sent me was Kinder chocolate, which went in my mouth immediately and did not last. I don't even think I made it home. Like, as soon as I opened it from the post office, I was like, Kinder, because I can't handle myself when it comes to Kinder chocolate. So, Shell lived in Australia, and she sent me just a little goodie bag just because she's awesome. So in the bag, the box, look at this cute little box, it comes already decorated, was a box of bacon band-aids, which are surprisingly sticky also, so I've already used them. I got some really cool Australia pencils. This one has Aboriginal artwork on it. This one has kangaroos on it. You can see the kangaroo right there. And then this one is from Sydney. So it's got the opera house and the bridge and all kinds of cool stuff on it. So I got some pencils from Shell. I haven't even sharpened them yet because if I sharpen them, then I'll use them and then they'll be gone. She got me this. I haven't tried this yet. She got me a sample of Vegemite. It is basically malt extract from barley. You can see it there. All I know Vegemite from is the Men at Work song. And she gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And I said, do you come from a land down under? So I've not ever tried Vegemite. I've heard horror stories, but I'm going to try it. So I got that. And then she also got me this fiber, which is gorgeous. And it's fiber that is a base that I don't often see or ever see, really. Hang on, I'm trying to open the bag so I can actually show you and not just show you in the bag. Feels so good. This is Pure Luxury, a blend of 5 sensual fibers. It's bison, angora, yak, cashmere, and tencel. It is a 50-gram braid from, I don't know how to say it, Ixchel Bunny, IXCHEL bunny.blogspot.com.au, and I'll show you that here. Let me turn autofocus off. Actually, if I leave it on, maybe it'll focus if I hold it up close. So that's the braid, or the label rather. And here's the braid. It is this beautiful mustard color. It's this nice, it's kind of hard to show you the colors in here. It's a silvery gray. There's some brown in there. Like, it's just beautiful. You can see the tencel. It's really gorgeous. Really gorgeous. And this is going to be spun very fine. And when I've got enough to figure out what it's going to become, I will let you know. But that is definitely going to go on the wheel sooner rather than later because I love it. So thank you so much, Shell, for that gift. She spoils me rotten, as do so many of you. I'm not even going to lie. So that was that. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because I'm scatterbrained and I didn't want to forget it. Now, I'm going to sneeze, so I'll be right back. So, the next thing that happened is a bit more serious. And I have been okayed to talk about this with you guys. And I think many of you probably already know, but I want to... Sorry, let's just talk about it. As many of you guys know, several of us podcasters do talk back and forth, like on text and chat and all that other stuff. And not just us podcasters, but knitters in general tend to become fast friends very easily. And one of the people that I love texting with is Wendy, Silly Fru, who has the Sassy Pants Knitter podcast. And Fru started messaging me a few weeks ago when she injured her, well, we've been messaging for a long time, but she messaged me more frequently a few weeks ago when she injured her calf muscle. She ripped her calf basically in half and was having really bad pain. And she was texting me, and we were texting back and forth, and I was telling her, you know, it will get better, Fru. It'll get better. You will come through this. And I love that I was able to be there for her for that. So I got a text message early last week that said she was in the hospital, and I immediately thought that it had to do with her calf because she's been in a lot of pain with it. And she said, no, my blood counts are really low, and they're not sure why. And I was like, what? She'd had a huge bruise or bleed in her calf, and I didn't know if that was what it was or not. So Fru spent all of last week in the hospital, and through texting with her every day and sort of just standing by there to let her freak out or to cheer her up or do whatever, like, we found out that Fru's diagnosis is actually hairy cell leukemia. And originally they thought it was going to be lymphoma. And after everything Fru's been through, lymphoma would have it just would not have been acceptable. Not that any kind of cancer is acceptable, but she texted me one morning, and it was 8:30 or 9, and she said the diagnosis is hairy cell leukemia. And I was like, I've never heard of that. Whoa. Leukemia is a scary word. What is that? So I jumped up onto Google immediately and typed in hairy cell leukemia and started looking at it. And I said, you know, have they told you anything about it? Do you know anything? She said, no, I'm afraid to Google it. So I was like, stand by. So I Googled it, and it turns out hairy cell leukemia is actually one of the better cancers you can have. It's very slow growing. It does not have a tumor. It does not require any kind of surgery. It responds very well to chemotherapy, and although it's a chronic condition, it's nothing that really ever completely goes away. Most people, after a single round of chemotherapy, can have remissions of up to 10 years. It is a cancer you can live with. And I was relaying this information to Fru as I was finding it out, that, you know, it's much better than the lymphoma that they had originally been concerned with. And I kept texting her saying, no, actually, this isn't that bad. Like, it's mostly a middle-aged man's disease. And, you know, of course, Fru has to have it because she's an odd duck. And she's like, figures, I'd get the hairy ballsack cancer. And when she joked that it was hairy ballsack cancer, I knew she'd be okay. So Fru is still in the hospital. Her blood counts are still really low. And they, as far as I know, have not yet decided on the best course of treatment for her. They're trying to get her fluffed up, trying to get her blood back to where it needs to be. So knowing that she has a prolonged hospital stay ahead of her, and knowing that any sort of medical event is intensely expensive, and knowing that she's been stretched with all the stuff that's gone on with her in the last couple of years, I decided, or Fru and I decided together, that we are going to come up with a couple of colorways that the proceeds from which $10 of the sale of every skein of yarn is going to go towards Fru's medical costs. I'm going to just write her a check, basically. We came up with 2 colorways. They are, I think you'll agree if you know her, very Fru. The first colorway is a semi-solid. It is the awareness color of leukemia. It's a leukemia awareness ribbon. It's like a goldeny orange. And Fru had said that this color is called Fru's Hairy Balls. So it's a subtler skein of yarn, but with a crazy name. It's called Fru's Hairy Balls. And $10 from the scale of this skein will be sent to Fru. And then this other one is called Fruju, like juju, because we give her good juju, but it's Fruju because why wouldn't it be? Now, if you know Wendy and you know her love of rainbows, you know that this had to have rainbow in it. So this is Fruju. It starts with a pink. It's like a neon rainbow, goes to orange, this yellow, bright green, blue, and there's supposed to be purple in here. You can't see it super well in this one. And then the other half of the skein is black. So it is Fruju. And again, $10 from the skein of this yarn will go to Fru as well. So you have, if you want to help support Fru and her medical costs, you can buy one of these 2 skeins of yarn, Fru Jew or Fru's Hairy Balls. I also am going to offer them, I think, on striped maple sock, which is the, what is on my, somebody had breakfast on this cable. Not striped maple sock, I apologize. White maple sock, which is 100% American superwash merino. And this is what this is a mini skein, but this is what Fru Jew looks like in that colorway. It's a little bit more matte than on the sugar maple sock. So this one is a little bit more expensive because the base is, but still $10 will go to Fru. We'll be having knit-alongs. There will be more information. These are going to go up on pre-order, okay? All of my resources right now are committed to Stitches East. So I'm going to put up a pre-order. I got to photograph these and put them in the shop, and it will say in there that it can take up to a month for you to get the yarn. I'm going to do them as I can. I want people who care about Fru and want to support her. I want to get the yarn in their hands as fast as possible because I believe in the power of intention. But the realities of the situation is I've also got to dye more than 100 pounds of fiber and yarn for Stitches East. So I'm doing the best I can, and I'm doing it as fast as I can. Cancer sucks, and I would love for Fru to be able to click on Ravelry with a hashtag that says, you know, Fru's Hairy Balls or Fru's Cancer Problems or Cancer Sucks Balls or something like that. For us to have a hashtag, and we can figure that out later. And for her to be able to click and see all of the yarn and projects that people have and that are knitting with her in mind. So if you would like to message Wendy directly, you can message her on Rav. She is Silly Fru on Rav, and she also has an email address at sassypantsknitter@gmail.com. She has asked for people not to send her gifts. She is still in the hospital, and she can't really do anything with the gifts that she's getting while she's out, and she is definitely feeling the weight of her stash. And she loves the gifts. She loves everybody who thinks of her and sends things to her, but for right now, she is asking people to hold off. So send her all the digital, wonderful, warm greetings and thoughts that you want, and think of a hashtag for Fru, because I would love to have an awesome hashtag for projects for that. So that is what the week in review has really been doing. The only other thing that I've done is yesterday my husband and I went on an adventure. We went out to breakfast. Bad idea. My husband's toast was covered in mold. Totally covered. I thought it was Italian herb bread, but it was white bread with mold. Then we went apple picking to Sullivan's Orchard in Corinth. We picked 71 pounds of apples in about 15 minutes. We get a little carried away with the apples. Sorry. And then we went to the Common Ground Fair, and I was on a mission when I got to the Common Ground Fair, because the Common Ground Fair is an agricultural fair that focuses on Maine farms. 75% of the products in people's booth have to be from Maine farms. Well, they've got a wonderful fiber area. They have a whole fleece tent. They have a fiber marketplace. Well, everyone was posting pictures on Friday from the fleece tent, and they were all buying fleece. Fiber Truck TV, Alicia Cram, Orlona String Designs. Everyone's like, oh, on the round. She was like, oh, I'm getting fleece. And I'm like, you stop it. Leave something for the rest of us. So when I got there about noon on Saturday, that was the first place we went. Like, I gotta go to the fleece barn. I gotta go. Not that I even need fleece right now, but like, I can't let them all get away from me. I'm too competitive. I don't know. Anyway, I did end up purchasing a fleece, and rather than drop it off in my fiber processor to be processed, because this is a multicolor fleece, my husband and I have decided we're gonna process this on our own. He's gonna help, so he says, and we are going to process this fleece and either cart it up into bats or pull it into roving or do what we need to do so that you can purchase some. This is a rare breed. It is a California variegated mutant, and I'm sorry for the bag crinkling, but it's in a trash bag, so it is what it is. This is the fleece. You can see there is chocolate brown, there is ecru, there is gray, there is fawn. It is a ton of colors. This is a big fleece. This is an 8.5 pound fleece. It has not been skirted or anything. I haven't even taken it out of the bag. This came from Beauchemin Farm. I think that's supposed to be French. It's in Waldoboro. It's a multicolored fine fleece. It was $10 a pound, so I paid $85 for the whole fleece. It says beautiful range of colors, some tip matting from the coat, and there's trace vegetable matter. Now, I don't mind the tip matting a little bit. I'll get out what I need to as we go. The fact that it was a coated fleece is what sold me, because with previous California Variegated Mutant or CVM fleece that I've seen before, the tips seem to get like sunburned, and the fiber is pretty chunky, and then there's a little thin narrow tip at the end, and the tips will actually pull right off, like they break because they get damaged by the sun or something. So the fact that this was a coated fleece means that the fiber will not have that problem. So that was why we ended up getting that one. There was also a gray Cormo fleece I considered getting, but I've had a lot of the gray and brown and black fleeces, and they haven't sold super well, so I wanted a broader range of colors. So that's why I ended up going with the CVM. So that will be also something that we work on in between. So, and in processes, I'm going to talk a little bit about the process I'm going to do with that. So, okay. Excuse me. Let's get to the knitting, shall we? The first thing I want to talk about is the design that I did for the Spartacus Dyes Holiday Club. So if you have not yet received the pattern and or you don't want to be spoiled by the yarn, then you need to look away for the next couple of minutes. This yarn is Spartacus Dyes Joss Whedon worsted in the #2 pencil colorway. And I designed a clever pencil case with the yarn. This took less than half of the yarn. So you can see it's a good size for a pencil case. You can fit a ton of pencils in here. Let me see if I can't stick those all in there. Like they totally go. I mean, I could fill this full. I won't, but it uses sock construction. So I used a Judy's Magic cast on bottom. I Kitchenered the top, and I used afterthought heel techniques to do the opening. And then did some duplicate stitching. I did a tee for my nephew Thomas. I'm going to send this to him. But it also has options for you to put in. You can put in grommets down here at the bottom if you wanted to put it in like a 3-ring binder. You can put a button closure here with some thread. You could make it stripy. You could do whatever you wanted. I included a lot of, not specialization, personalization options for people. I really enjoyed doing this pattern. It was super quick. The pattern is available for purchase on Ravelry. It's $1.99. The people who are in the club got it for free. And you can visit my Ravelry design store. I believe it's under Highland Handmaids Designs if you would like to pick that up. And it knits up really quick out of worsted. So check it out. Try it out. Okay, so that was the first thing I did. If you're in the club, you can come back. I also finished my Clown in the Closet socks. These are knit out of Yarn vs. Zombies yarn in a striping colorway called Colorophobia. It is a fear of clowns, and you can see it's a 2-striper. It's a variegated sort of rainbow and a dark gray. It's like an overwashed gray rainbow and then a dark gray. So it's a 2-striper, but it's got a lot more colors than just 2 because one of the stripes is variegated. And this pattern hasn't been written up yet, but it is going to be. It is a very, very simple slip stitch pattern. Hold on, let me turn the autofocus back on so you guys can see it. Let's see here. Come on, focus. All right, please focus. There we go. So you can see the slip stitches there. They just give the stockinette sock a little something extra. And I did use my traditional wrap and turn heel, which is the heel I prefer. And my socks are never very tall. I did have quite a bit of yarn left over, so that's awesome. I can knit baby hats or something out of that. I really enjoyed knitting these. I really enjoy Kiki's yarn. I'm in her geek club, and I get a skein of worsted weight yarn from her every month. And it's awesome. So I finished these, and as you can tell, I blocked them. I did wear them first, so they do have some goobers on them because I wore them for like 4 days before I washed them and soaked them. And then I cast on another pair. My husband saw them and liked them, and he wanted a pair for himself, so we went through the stash tote that has his yarn, and he actually liked one of my yarns, and so he had a skein of Highland Handmaid's red maple sock in the Fitzwilliam colorway, and he chose that yarn for the same pattern, the Cloud in My Closet pattern. And you can see here I have started it. I suppose I should hold it like that because it's a toe of a sock. And you can see now, as a lot of my sock colorways do, this is going to slowly stripe. It looks a little bit brighter than it really is. It's a tiger lily sort of orange, a navy blue, and a chocolate brown. The chocolate brown and the navy kind of you can kind of see it's right there, but this will slow stripe up his foot as it goes around, and you can see that the detail on the slip stitches is quite dramatic. Now, my slip stitches were only 3 stitches in from the edge. He has giant feet, so I put them 5 stitches in from the edge just so they'll be a little bit closer to the top of his foot. Those socks were knit on 60 stitches on a US 2. These are going to be knit on 68 stitches on a US 2. This yarn is 50% superwash merino, 50% tencel. And the tencel gives it a lot of drape, but it doesn't have the same memory that 100% wool would. So if it stretches out, it kind of stays stretched out. So the math works out. He has a 10-inch circumference foot. At 8 stitches to the inch, the math works out to be 72 stitches, and I'm doing 68. I'm just narrowing it down about a 1/2 inch so that it'll be snug, even after he's worn them all day. We'll see. He has really large feet, so you can see they look like oven mitts. I have not yet put information of that on my project page, but I will be doing it soonish. This is the yarn. It is, I think, 415 yards per skein, but he also does not like very tall socks, and I will knit until pretty much I've got half used up, and then we'll keep going. So there's that. One of the other projects I've worked on this week is my Dagmar sweater. This is in my Girl Cave bag. That was also a Girl Cave bag. I love Girl Cave bags. Rista is amazing. This is my Dagmar sweater, which I've been working on for a long time. Sweaters take me forever. Not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna apologize. This is it starts the bottom-up sweater. It is a loose, boxy sweater that has this traveling cable here in the front. And it's got short rows in the back so that the back is actually longer than the front. You see how it's lifted up there? That's how it's supposed to be. Sorry, I'm not quite on the edge here of the stitches. There we go. So you can see that's how it looks. Now, the pattern has some issues because the pattern says that once you get all the way over here to this edge, that you're ready to start the armpits. That is not long enough for me, for my armpits. That's still way under it's not even up to my boobs yet. So clearly I'm going to have to knit this longer. I'm going to knit 4 of the braid repeats straight before I start the shoulder instructions. So basically it's going to be at least another 4.5 inches before I'm ready to start the armpits. Many of the people who left comments on their project pages said that they had to do additional straight sections. So I was expecting that. I want it to fit, and I don't want it to be too short, especially where it's shorter already in the front, because that would look dumb. I don't want a crop sweater. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see that. Let's see what else. I am also working on a shawl design. It is about, probably half done at this point. It's a 400-yard lace weight shawl that has 3 lace sections in the body and then a 4th section for the trim, the edging. And that will be in a purchase-able pattern here in the future. I'm working on that when I can. Like I said, I'm doing stitches prep, so it's a lot of dyeing, a lot of drying, a lot of planning, and so I don't have all the world to knit. The lace repeats in this pattern are very small repeats. They're very memorizable and memorable. So it is car knitting, but some of the roads here in Maine are really awful, and it's hard to knit in the car when you're shaking all over the place. So, which is why I started those socks. Okay, spinning. I have been spinning. I finished half of the plying, actually, of the purple bat that I had told you about that I was going to barber pole. So here's the half. This is 124 yards. So I should get about 240 yards. So it's a worsted. It's actually a bulky weight, probably, as far as the thickness of the yarn is at rest, but very springy. It's Polworth, so it's very, very springy and nice. I hope to ply up the other half. I need to clear the bobbins so that I can continue working on my loop bat. This is a bobbin full of loop bat. You can see the gold is done, and I'm on to the mint. The mint is actually also done, and I'm in the last two colors. The mint is turning into this chartreusey mustard, and then I've got dark green as well, and that will be done. This is going to have to go on a different bobbin than this because this won't fit on here, which I expected. I'm going to Navajo ply it so that I can just join the two as I go. But I can't ply or spin the rest until I have bobbins free, so I've got to clear off those two bobbins of Polworth bat. Let's hope I do that this week. That's all I've been spinning. Sorry, I put my notes over here so they were out of the way, and now I don't remember what I need to talk about. Okay, dye pots. I already talked about Fru's colorways. So I did those, the Fruju and the Fru's Hairy Balls, but I also have quite a bit of fiber to show you. Each of these are listed one at a time in the shop, or I should say dye lots of one in the shop. The other two are in the stitches pile. Fiber doesn't sell, in my experience, as well as yarn does, but I wanted to have enough so that people could buy, 8 ounces for a bigger project if they wanted to. So, and any of these that don't sell in the shop will go with me 2 stitches, so I'll have a set of 3. So let's start with the Superwash Merino Tencel, shall we? The first up is Misty Mountain. It is soft blue and silver, deepening down into like a soot color. That's a kettle dye. Loki's Whim, which is lime green, regular green, and dark green. Because we all know Loki looks best in green. Wayland's Forge. Wayland is another Norse god, and this is his Forge colorways. Bright orange, silver, and soot. It's supposed to be black, but the Tencel doesn't take the dye the same. I have fiber in my eye. So it's actually like an almost black. And the orange is quite bright. My Mistress's Eyes, which is based off of Sonnet 130 by Shakespeare, which is my mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun, so I have sun yellow. If hairs be wires, then black wires grow from her head. That's the black, or the almost black. If roses be damasked red and white, no such roses do I see in her cheeks. So there's a rosy color here. And coral is far more red than her lips be red. So I've got a coral red. And this is my ode to Shakespeare. It looks kind of chaotic in this game, but it looks very different spun up. Freya's Cloak is another of the Norse God series. It is bright blue, silver, and charcoal. And I also have Volcanic, which is silver, charcoal, hot pink, bright yellow, and orange. It is as bright as you see right there. For sure. It's bright. I love Tencel and bright colors because Tencel is so shiny and it really pops the brightness of the colors. The other fiber that I've been doing is one of my most popular fibers. It's a blend of 40% superwash merino, 40% merino, and 20% silk. Each of the fibers takes the dye a little bit differently, so you get almost like a striation look in the yarn. This is unhollowed remains, which is basically from what pumpkins look like in November. Kind of oldie moldy and gross. And you can see the stripes there in that orange. That's the different fibers as they play. This is also a kettle dye. I have 2 actually of the unhollowed remains because there was the last of the dye lot. There were only 2, so I just included them both in the shop. Autumnal, which is a nice autumn colorway. Chocolate brown, dark red, pumpkin spice, orange, gold. Autumnal, looks like leaves. Desert Storms, which is one of my more popular colorways in this fiber. Light blue, medium blue, gold, silver, and almost like a greeny brown. This is a brown, but it's almost like, do you see how it expresses greenish in sections? Kind of like the sky right before a storm. It's got that greeny cast to it. Down East, which is one of my main colorways. It's a spot dyed selection of blues and turquoise and aqua with some undyed areas left for blending. Ultraviolet, I dyed up 2 of these for a custom order. And so here's the remainder one. Soft pale purple and lavender into a bright purple to a darker lavender. And finally, Should You Need Us, which is an ode to The Labyrinth, which is one of the best 80s movies ever. And you can see there it's kettle dyed teal, but is over dyed with black. And again, you get that stripy effect because of the way the fibers accept the dye. Should You Need Us is one of my favorite colorways. So those are all ready, all up in the shop. If you would like them, let me know and I will send them right out to your house. If you are planning on being at Stitches East in Hartford, Connecticut from October 10th through the 12th, I'm in booth 913 and all of these fibers will be there as well. I'm like the second set of booths back on the left-hand side as you walk in the door. It's a better place than I was at Stitches South. Although I haven't yet looked to see who's next to me, so hopefully it'll be somebody equally cool. The only other thing I want to show you in the dye pots is, what month is it? September, is August's Snapshots from Maine Fiber Club yarn. Sorry, it's not a fiber club, it's a yarn club. The Yarn Club yarn. If you have not yet received yours and you don't want to be spoiled, look away, but I think at this point most everybody has received their yarn. This month's colorway, or August's colorway, is Stalwart. It is a blend of green and silvery gray that is flecked through with darker spots of charcoal and black. And here it looks, this is the worsted one that is reskeined. It is based off of Fort Knox and the Penobscot Narrows Bridge in Prospect, Maine. This month's colorway is gonna be great. I can't wait to show you guys. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited. The postcards are coming. The dyeing is going to be done before my shipment for Stitches comes in. Okay. Growth. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't tell you a whole lot about it. I will definitely show you the next podcast episode if I have it. But Highland Handmaids is featured in this autumn issue of Ply Magazine. It's the community issue. And JC Boggs had put out a call for an indie fiber for the December issue, the winter issue. And when I contacted her, she said, well, actually, I need something for fall. Can you do it? And I was like, heck yeah. So I dyed up some fiber and sent it to her. And of course, I couldn't talk about it. But it should be in people's mailboxes tomorrow, hopefully. She said on Facebook that they had been mailed out and had asked if anybody had theirs yet. I don't know anyone who has their copy of Ply Magazine yet, but Highland Handmaids is supposed to be in there. I would really love if somebody would send me a picture when they see it, because it's going to be days before I get my magazine and I'm dying over here. I really want to see it. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Plurk, Facebook. I'm all over. Just earburn me and say, hey, look what's in. Like, look, here it is. I just really want to see it so bad. So bad. So check that out, definitely. That was really cool. Processes. I did want to talk a little bit about how I'm going to process the CVM fleece. This is not a tutorial. Just, there's a lot of methods that you can choose from. So here are the methods that I use. I have recently come to love the washing machine version of fleece processing. I won't pick it up. What I'm going to do with this fleece, we're going to get a big table outside, or some sawhorses with some plastic fencing. And I'm going to open up the whole fleece and skirt it. Take out all the poopy bits, anything that's matted, anything that doesn't look good, whatever. And then I'm going to rip it apart. I'm going to divide it up by color so that all the ecru stuff is together, all the dark chocolate stuff is together, the gray is together. And then I put it in a large laundry bag. So a little bit at a time, so it has plenty of room to move around. You fill the washing machine with hot water, turn it off, soak the fleece. It says to soak it without the bag. I'm just not comfortable putting that kind of fleece in my regular washing machine. If I had a dedicated washing machine just for fleece, maybe, but I'm not comfortable with that. So it stays in the bag, but it has plenty of room to move around. So you soak it for a few minutes, and then you drain the water and put it through the spin cycle. Now, the tutorial that I have says that you can leave the fleece in there and it will drain, and then you can spin it out. I take the fleece out, drain all the water, and as it starts to spin, I open the machine back in, throw the fleece back in, and let it spin it out. And I have to listen really closely because my washing machine will do another rinse while the spin cycle is going. So as soon as I hear the water start to come back in, I have to pull the fleece back out because the spin cycle rinse is always cold water. So I have to be a little bit careful of that. But then I turn the washing machine back to fill it with hot water, and do it again. It's a much bigger tub than the sink, and so I can do a lot more at once. And the spin cycle really helps dry the fleece much faster. So that's how I plan on processing that. And then from there, my friend Alicia has a picker. So we'll put it through the picker, open up all the locks, get them all teased out, and then I'll put it through the drum carder and either leave it in a vat or I will pull it with a diz into roving. So that's that. Okay, grabby hands. This week's Grabby Hands is a new book published by Cooperative Press, but written and designed by my friend Elizabeth, who is Elizabeth Green Musselman she works for Cooperative Press, but she also is the hostess of Dark Matter Knits, which is a podcast that's really awesome. She's very smart. She's just brilliant. So she put out this book and Cooperative Press published it. It's awesome. It's Kung Fu knits. They've got like knit nunchucks and these super comfy looking, I don't know what the term is for them. They're the pants from the outfit that they wear. She has a whole knit outfit for the, I know the word and I can't. I was just looking at it's probably underneath you in text right now because it's killing me, but Elizabeth Green Musselman is clever. And although the designs do not have to be knit for boys, they are designed with boys in mind because so few knitting patterns are designed with boys in mind. And Elizabeth wrote a really nice post about why boys? Like the feminists are like, well, hey, girls can do Kung Fu too. And she's like, oh, absolutely. But a vast majority of knitting patterns are not designed with boys in mind. So they deserve to have a book for them. And that's not to say you can't knit for girls out of it. Obviously you can. But she wanted it to appeal to boys, and having a son herself, I think that helped her see it from sort of his perspective. And I appreciate that. I think that she's right, and that's not something that we think about. It's something that I think about, like with my club. I have more than one guy in my Snapshots from Maine Yarn Club, so I have to think about that when I dye colorways, because I want it to be something that they would enjoy using as well. And I think too few knitting things are designed with men in mind. So I'm going to do that review, so stick around for that. It's really awesome. It's really so many levels of awesome. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you detest reviews and you're going to say goodbye for now, I will say happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in. But stay here because I want to talk to you about the review. So if you have any questions or you need any help from me, you can always email me, Heather at highlandhandmaids.com or highlandhandmaids@gmail.com. They all go to the same place. And yeah, let's get to the review. This is the review of Kung Fu Knits, illustrated by Ben Bender and patterns designed by Elizabeth Green Musselman. This book is published by Cooperative Press and is available now for purchase. So the first thing you need to know about this book is it's not just a pattern book. Kung Fu Knits is a comic book with supplementary patterns. And this really is an adorable, adorable book that you can not only knit something for your child or a child that you know, but also enjoy, share the story with them to enjoy. So here's the introduction. And the introduction is your basic introduction, why the designer decided to create this book. But the thing that I love that you rarely see is if you would like to make all of the projects in the book in the yarns as listed, in the colors listed, it tells you of the 4 colors used exactly how many skeins you have to buy for everything. So if you want to knit the top, pants, bag, and the objects that go in the bag, it shows you exactly how many skeins of yarn you need total, and I love that. So this is the comic book, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I want you to read it, but this is the kid Liam, and he wants to go outside in the winter and play, and his mom says, no, it's much too cold. You've got to put on all these things. And he doesn't want to, of course, because he's a little boy. So she ends up making him a complete kung fu outfit. Gi, top, pants, bag, some weapons, and it's really adorable. And of course, he can't just go outside to play. He's going to go outside to conquer evil, to vanquish evil. As seen by the abominable snowman, Frostbite, as well as some other creatures. So, once the book is over, it's time for the patterns, and Elizabeth's son Liam does model all of the objects and outfits here, and he's just adorable. This is the gi jacket, which has like a kimono robe style, and the belt is actually a separate item, which they're not going to talk about here just yet. So it does talk also about fit. It says that the gi jacket and pants are modeled after actual kung fu uniforms, and that the sleeves are supposed to be a little short. They also are not snug. There's a lot of positive ease in this outfit, which is good because then they've got room to grow as well. Here's the top with the belt again. One of the things I love about these patterns is that they all have folded cuffs, so they're nice and thick and heavy. They give it a nice weight, but also have really clean, unfussy lines for boys. Gi pants are for highest kicking. And he's just having a ball. God love him. The belt she calls the cinched waist of fury. I love this. It's very Kung Fu Panda. I really adore this. I would have to look to see if they can be sized up for adults. I'm sure they can because they're really pretty fantastic. Here's the bag for things, again with the folded hem, and it's got a nice wide opening, and it's slung over your shoulder, sling bag style. And I believe there's a zipper in there as well. There's a throwing star pattern for you to throw things. And the best, nunchucks, 50 grams of pure soft justice. So here's another picture of the nunchucks, and you can see they're pretty freaking adorable. The whole book is done with humor and a sense of fun, and that makes the patterns as much fun to read as they are to knit. And bonus points, your kid's not going to wound anybody like they would with a pair of real nunchucks. Obviously, it's a cooperative press book, so it has a standard book of abbreviations, as well as clickable links to tutorials and techniques. Knitted cast on, short rows wrap and turn, I-cord, crochet chain stitch, how to sew in a zipper, Kitchener, 3 needle bind off, picking up stitches. There are good tutorials that you can be used to help you with the patterns in this book. Elizabeth does have some acknowledgments, of course, here at the end, and then the about the author bit, as well as the about the illustrator bit. Ben Bender is the guy who did the comic book in the beginning. He has a Facebook page, and Elizabeth has darkmatterknits.com, which is her website as well. And then there's an About Cooperative Press, of course, like there always is on the back. You can visit cooperativepress.com, or you can purchase this pattern on Ravelry. Now, I got an email from Elizabeth that says that the digital download is $9.95, and it's $15.95 for the physical copy, which I believe comes with a digital download. She also is offering a coupon code for good for all of her patterns. And if you go to Elizabeth Green Musselman's Ravelry Designs page, all of her self-published patterns are available at a 15% discount with the coupon code KFK Launch. That's KFK LAUNCH. And her, that's not the ones that are in the book. These are her self-published designs that are in her pattern store. And if you go up here to pattern store, you can see the ones that are available as Ravelry downloads. She's got a little bit of everything: shawls, tanks, hats, cuffs. Her cattywampus hat I've got to knit. I so want to knit that hat. She has a nice selection of designs that are very unique and individual, but also Elizabeth does the same thing I do, which is she offers simpler design features that pack a big effect. I really love that. That coupon code is good through the end of November. So that's KFK Launch for 15% off all of Elizabeth Green Musselman's self-published patterns. That's my review of Kung Fu Knits, available now from cooperativepress.com.
Butterfly wings thumping softly on the window, paint humming, driving sideways, and wrinkles looking past the billboard sign.